Let's look at the highs and lows of my reading year so far by looking at my favorite and least favorite reads from the first quarter of 2026. Though I haven't had as many 5-star reads as I would hope at this point in the year, the ones that I have had have been incredibly strong, and the current book to beat for my favorite book of the year is The Poet Empress. This book reads like a slowly twisting knife to the heart. It is such a fascinating character study, and I was so obsessed with it. The emotional impact was incredible, and I loved like the way the different kind of perspectives and timelines were incorporated throughout this like slowly unfolding tragedy. I thought it was incredibly impactful and so well done. I finally got around to The Sword of Kaigen this year, and it lived up to everyone's high praise of this. This was such an amazing read. It did take me a little bit to get into it, but once it really got into the conflict, I was completely hooked. This has some of the best battle scenes, some of the best like single chapters I have ever read, fantastic character development. I really loved this so much, and it had such an emotional impact. I was constantly sobbing throughout this. I finally got around to starting the final trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings, the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. So of course, Fool's Assassin was one of my top reads of the first quarter. The emotional impact of the last 80 pages alone was just incredible. I loved returning to Fitz as a character. I was so just emotionally invested in the whole book, and I cannot wait to continue the trilogy soon. The only true disappointing read I've had so far this year is The Trident and the Pearl, because I got myself so excited for this book in such a short amount of time, mostly because it's an arranged marriage story, and I ended up really hating this book because it centers so much on miscommunication to drive the plot in really kind of unnatural directions, and the conflict was so avoidable, and I hated the characters. They made stupid decisions and were completely unbelievable, and I was annoyed because this one did really hook me in the beginning, but it really fell apart for me. Translation State is the first Imperial Radish book that didn't really hit for me. I just wasn't interested in the conflict or the characters or their journey, and I just felt like it got really lost in the details of this story, and I feel like it maybe would have been better for me as a novella, but overall I just didn't really care. My hopes for Cabaret in Flames are completely based on the fact that I love the US cover for this book so much, and I do think it has a lot of interesting potential, but it just does not work as a novella. It was poorly paced. It felt like chunks of the story had been taken out to cram it into a shorter page count, which left it feeling really disconnected, and just things didn't make sense. I was really confused about the world building and the conflict. And there were just too many loose threads in this story, and it relies on you liking this one character who is charming, but not enough to hold the story up.